Welcome everybody back to the Justin Rambo podcast. Here are my day one reactions to March Madness. So early in the afternoon, a lot of the games were mostly just chalk to start the games. One of the games that stood out is McNeese over Clemson. The game started out with Clemson only scoring 13 points in the first half. They come rolling back in the second half. McNeese had a bunch of energy and they were able to outlast Clemson. Obviously the score 69-67. This was a 12 seed over a 5 seed. A lot of brackets were busted at this point. Arkansas KU was the best game in terms of the first half all day. All the beginning games were kind of snoozers. A game that I had on my radar, I also had predicted in my previous video, Drake and Missouri. Bennett Sturts, he was looking like Austin Reeves 2.0. Drake was able to establish a slow pace. As we know, they had one of the slowest paces in the Division I. They were able to break the press that Missouri was having, and they were just consistently beating it to start the game. And Missouri came roaring back. With the score 52-48, Drake had a 4-point lead. They were only 3 for 10 from the free throw line with 6 minutes left in the second half. Missouri just kept clawing back, staying in the game. And one of the points that of emphasis for Drake is they had 5+ players at this point with 3 fouls, and they were able to sustain that and not have anybody foul out or get anybody that 4th foul for a while. But I do think if Drake is going to lose, whether it be tomorrow or later on, I think foul trouble could be their kryptonite. In terms of other games, Kansas and Arkansas is another game that stood out. KU went to the 2-3 zone. Mentioned in the broadcast that doesn't happen very often. They had only run zone, I believe, like 7 times all year. So they were trying to throw something different at Arkansas. Arkansas was able to get a lot of offensive rebounds at this point. Brazil would come in and be able to get a bunch of offensive rebounds. Harris Dickinson was only held to 4 field goals, 4 of 13 from the field. This is a really sorry way to go out for him to end his college career. The 2-3 zone changed the momentum in terms of the second half. Kansas was able to get some turnovers. Zeke Mayo was playing a great game. And Arkansas really started settling. They were, with roughly 4 minutes left in the game, they were 7 of 25 from the field in the second half. And then they were able to go on a 7-0 run with forcing 4 turnovers for KU. KJ Adams got injured as well. Another point that needs to be brought up. He was the Energizer Bunny for the Jayhawks, but Arkansas's big men were able to exploit this opening that they saw. Plus the backcourt of John L. Davis and DJ Wagner, they really made the difference. And also just stopping Dickinson. Every single shot he seemed to take in the post was contested. KU's first round of 64 loss since 2006. Obviously, it's been a up and down year for the Jayhawks. Obviously, they come into the season ranked first in the preseason poll. Just a disappointing year for them. In terms of another game, Omaha was able to hang around St. John's, but then St. John's was able to beat them by 30 points. This is the biggest margin of victory for Rick Pitino in the NCAA tournament. This was Drake's first NCAA tournament win since 1971, so things are going well for the Bulldogs. And some standout players from day one. As I mentioned, Bennett Sturts, 21 points, 4 assists on 8 of 11 shooting, 3 for 3 from 3. Overall, the pace that the Bulldogs are able to set with slowing the game down, not letting the press disrupt their ability to score. Missouri had them at moments where they were forcing some plays and turning the ball over. But I think the Bulldogs, what stood out to me was their defense. I think them playing Texas Tech, I think if they are able to stay out of foul trouble, I think this could be another upset Drake over Texas Tech. Another player I wanted to mention, Jonas Adu for Arkansas, he had 22 points, only averaging 6.9 points on the season. So he was able to execute against the Jayhawks. John L. Davis had some clutch buckets down the stretch. 4 of 9 from 3. If he's hitting those threes, this Arkansas team can continue to advance in this tournament. Jemiah Neal had 29 points, 11 of 16 from the field for Creighton. Creighton looked really good against Louisville. That was the first game of the day, and that busted a lot of brackets. Obviously, those 8-9 games are a coin flip right now. I'm recording this at 12:30 Central Time. There is Baylor, Mississippi State going on right now, so we'll see what happens with that game. But some games I like for tomorrow, for the Saturday slate. Purdue and McNeese. I think McNeese is going to run out of steam. I think they came out of the gates hot against Clemson, but the momentum's kind of shifted, and I think Purdue's just going to have too much to handle. Braden Smith and the crew, I think they're just going to be too much for McNeese to handle. Arkansas St. John's, we have a John Calipari, Rick Pitino matchup, one that I was able to predict in my predictions video. And I think this will be a great game. I don't know if I can pick the Razorbacks over St. John's. St. John's only 4 losses on the season by a total of 7 points. I think it'll be close, but I see Rick Pitino's squad advancing. Like I mentioned earlier, Drake is playing Texas Tech. I think some of the keys to the game, Drake, are they able to stay out of foul trouble? Are they able to lock in with that defense that we saw over Mizzou? I think it'll be close. I have Drake advancing. I think if Bennett Sturtz is able to have that pace, slow it down, able to exploit some of the spots that Texas Tech could be weak in. I know they've battled some injuries. I think JT Toppin for them will be able to have a great game. I think the athleticism is where Texas Tech could thrive. Obviously, Drake slows it down a bit, and they don't have the size, I think, to get them super far in this tournament, but they do have some great minds in Bennett Sturtz. And my upset pick of the day for tomorrow's games, I have Gonzaga with the best chance of upsetting a number 1 seed. I think they could play a phenomenal game against Auburn. Auburn obviously was able to beat, I believe, SIUE or something like that. But Auburn was able to win their first round matchup. I think Gonzaga could give them a test. I also think Houston will have their hands full against, I believe, Clemson, or Creighton, excuse me. But I think Gonzaga could do it over Auburn. I think this could be a huge upset. We haven't really seen any upsets super out of nowhere. Obviously, McNeese was a huge upset, but those 12-5s are always kind of a toss-up. I think the best game of the day tomorrow will be BYU and Wisconsin. BYU offensively is one of the hottest teams in the country. And Wisconsin, they were able to take care of Montana. Montana was keeping it close a little early, but Wisconsin was able to run away with it. I think that'll be a bloodbath. I think Wisconsin, a very balanced squad, and I think BYU, if they're able to shoot the lights out, Richie Saunders, one of my favorite players to watch in this tournament. I think he will have a great day. That'll be a fun game. It's close. It's only Wisconsin favored by 1.5 as we are recording this. That'll be a tough game. I think it'll be a toss-up. It's really a coin flip. I like BYU to win that. I think they're a hot squad right now, and we'll have to see what happens. Other games happening as we record this. Alabama is playing Robert Morris. They're up 4 at half. I think Alabama could be in trouble as a 2 seed. I think obviously their offense is high-powered, but like I mentioned in my predictions video, I think the SEC is going to be in trouble in this tournament. I think it'll be a Big East, Big Ten, maybe Big 12, but I think the Big East and the Big Ten, they are going to show why they are 2 of the best conferences in the Division I. But this has been my Day 1 reactions. Day 2 reactions will be up after the games conclude today. Obviously, I'm hoping my Wildcats are not upset by Akron, but we will see what happens. Enjoy the day. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Spotify, Justin Rambo Podcast. Subscribe to the channel, share, like, do all that good stuff, and we will see you next time.